My name is Michael Renato. I'm the Bakery Technical Advisor at Puratos Canada. Welcome to our bakery. Today, it's all about health and well-being. We have some fantastic products lined up to show you today. We have a sprouted bread with sprouted grains and sprouted flour, and we also have a vegan muffin with bran and raisins inside. Through our consumer research, we find that more people are interested in wholesome foods in their diet. Giving your products a healthier spin doesn't always mean removing ingredients, but also adding the right ones in, such as grains and fiber. All right, let's deep dive in what we're making today. Okay, to make our sprouted grain bread, we need a couple of ingredients. I have my sprouted spelt flour here, wheat flour, salt, S500 clean label, and fresh yeast. And most importantly, our soft grain sprouted grain. Our soft grain sprouted grain is soaked in sourdough to increase the flavor and shelf life of the product, giving all your breads that unique sourdough taste. Now, let's get everything into the mixer, add some water, and make some fantastic bread. Our dough is mixed. I've removed it from the mixer and I've placed it into our dough bin. The dough hit 26 degrees Celsius, so at that temperature I know it's going to take 1 hour for fermentation. We'll simply take a lid, close it, let it rest in a warm area, and we'll come back to it in an hour. All right, so I have our dough here. It's been about an hour, and as you can see, our dough has grown in size. And what we're going to do now is divide it into the 1,500 gram segments to fit into our molds. Okay, so I've turned out our dough, and now I'm going to cut it into the 1.5 kilo segments to fit into our mold. We'll get a nice cut across. 1,500 is quite large. Okay. We'll take our dough now, and I'm gently just going to round it. Just like so. Doesn't have to be too tight. You just want just enough tension. I will leave it there to relax. We'll let them all relax for about 20 minutes before our main shaping. Our dough is relaxed for about 20 minutes. I have now my greased pan right here, and now we're going to shape the breads. So we'll take a little bit of flour, lightly dust on top of the rounds, and then we'll dust our working surface. We'll take a round, flip it over its side. Now with a little bit of floured hands here, I'm going to press down just to remove the gas. Okay. And what I'm going to do is make sure that the bottom is longer than the top because we're going to roll it onto itself. So what we do, flatten it out, and then I'm going to cross over the top, over like that, fold in the top, fold in the bottom, so that you have a nice seam going down. Because if you don't do this, then you'll have a little indentation in the middle of your bread. We'll smack it down, again, stretch out the bottom, and begin folding it in on itself. Just like so. Pushing in, and then closing it with the palms. Finish it up like so, and into the pan. So we've placed our loaves into the tin. I'm going to put them into the proofer at 30 degrees Celsius, 80% humidity for about 2 hours. Conditions vary, and obviously the bread's going to grow at its own rate, so check your bread periodically. And when we're done, we'll take them and put some nice flour on top and put them in the oven. So our breads are now done proofing. We're going to pull them out of the proofer. I'm going to decorate them with a little bit of white flour on top to get that nice artisan appeal. We'll score them and place them in the oven. So I have our nicely proofed breads right here. And as you can see, they've nicely domed over the top of the pan. We're going to take a little bit of a sifter here with some white flour. You can use rice flour and you can use rye flour as well, but most people have abundantly white flour available. We're going to give a light tap just to decorate. It's okay if you put a little bit too much because some of it's going to blow off with the steam from the oven. Now, I have my very sharp blade here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it an angled cut at 45 degrees. So if we were to cut this straight, the bread is more likely to open up and have two ears, whereas I want just a nice one clean ear. So we'll hold it on the vertical. I'm going to hold the blade 45 degrees and give one swift, confident cut. As always, we must be confident when we cut. If we don't, the bread will be confident for us and our blade will snag. So we take our blade, give a nice confident cut right down the center. We'll do it again for the other ones. Don't be afraid if you do need to go over it, just do a couple little touch-ups. These loaves are quite big, so it is kind of hard to get a good cut the first time. Okay, now I'm going to place this in the oven. I have my deck at 235 degrees Celsius, which is around 480 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to use 300 milliliters of steam, which is 0.3 liters of steam. These loaves are quite large. They're 1,500 grams, so they're going to bake for about 45 minutes, but you can also bake to the color preference that you like. So, without further ado, let's get these guys in the oven. We'll open up the deck, place them in, and start. For our muffin today, we're using our Tigrel Satin Vegan Cake Mix, a ready-to-use mix that just requires the addition of liquids. With our vegan cake mix, you can make delicious cakes, cookies, and muffins without the addition of animal proteins. So for mixing, we're going to add our liquids first for ease of mixing. And this helps incorporate everything better when the water and liquids are at the bottom. For our liquids, we have canola oil, fancy molasses, and water, which I'm also soaking the raisins. For our inclusions, we have obviously bran and our cake mix. Now we're going to add all our liquids to the bottom of the mixing bowl here. We're going to take our oil and add it, our molasses, and finally our water. I'm just going to hold back the raisins because I will add them at the end of mix. So we'll just add the water. And finally, our vegan cake mix. We will hold back the bran also just to have a little bit of incorporation with the mix and the liquids, and then we'll add it in. So we have our muffins right here. I scaled them at 100 grams each. After the mix was done mixing, I take a little bit of the batter and rub it between my fingers to make sure that the sugar is completely dissolved. It's very important that the sugar is dissolved before baking. I'm going to place these guys in the oven at 165 degrees Celsius, which is 330 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 35 minutes. All right, here's our final products from today, our beautiful sprouted grain bread and our vegan bran muffins. Thank you for joining us during this demo today. Don't forget to visit our website for more information and to follow us on social media. And in the meantime, you know you can always rely on us for everything you need Puratos.